So we started. We got through this, so I'm gonna skip over to now the only page object spec, which is the test that actually runs that I was developing the hooks to find anywhere. Anyway, if we walk through this, we're basically this is the assert that expect something to be something, and that's actually what I'm missing. Is I don't have any asserts. I only have that visual check. And the login page, I'm sucking in a login page, and I'm actually sucking in the nav bar. Now that because it's I figured out that Huracan is using the nav bar kind of as their vehicle for managing things, I think, and I'd like to confirm that. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, so what I'm doing is, and basically I create a little test account, and I own that domain, and Google's hooked up to it. Blah blah blah. And I'm fine with anybody using that because we can nuke it. Anyway, so this is Mocha BDD style, I think, and I think BDD is it's describe it is the style format for the rest of the tools and reporting tools to work. But anyway, so I got two tests. Is one, it should deny access on something wrong, and then it should allow access on a correct. So basically here I'm I am calling those objects. And I open, I'm waiting for this is part of it. I'm waiting for the username, on the login page form to exist and then become visible. And then I had a hard time getting the browser into an area that I could type, and I think it has to do with I don't know what part of the web component, but there's so much fancy stuff that I call it that it's hard to get into it. And then there's all sorts of weird things they do for activation to make sure you're a human and make sure you aren't a robot, and you kind of have blah blah blah. I don't know if that's going on or if it's just a style I'm not used to. But anyway, I did find out that if I tab, I can get into it, and then I can use the browser key. So I'm using this browser thing, which is more of a direct call. All this stuff goes into a WebIO, which is a WebDriver. WebDriver, the reason I like using it is because the stuff isn't going to go away because it's all the handicap stuff. So it's built into the bottom logics of all the stuff, and it's in the W3 spec and all that stuff too. So if you're using something that uses that, it's pretty stable, and that's why Selenium was so popular. Selenium is getting replaced, but they're still using the same mechanisms, and WebDriver is that mechanism. I think it's called JSON Wire Protocol. Anyway, if you want to research it, we can go into that a little bit later. But anyway, I'm getting through it by doing this, and what I wasn't doing is I couldn't grab the visual text stuff. And so walking through the rest of this, it's pretty simple then, right? It's logging in, it's logging in, and I'm tabbing through the browsers. And same thing, I'm just tabbing through the browser. I'm tabbing through the keys, and this stuff really doesn't make any difference. But let's I only got a second left. Well, we'll do that next time. So what I was going to do is just for debugging purpose, let's see. I want to see this screen, so that's right here. If I do browser, I always spell that wrong. Browser.debug, and we save that. We've got it, and I'm going to run that when I come back.